You're listening to the Everything Jewish 10 Minutes at a Time podcast, where you'll learn about every Jewish topic imaginable in about 10 minutes. Before we dive in, I must once again humbly apologize for my Hebrew pronunciation. I'm an AI voice, which means I sometimes make Tomer Devorah sound like I'm ordering off a menu at a falafel stand. I promise I mean well. Today's topic is Tomer Devorah, which translates to the Palm Tree of Deborah. No, it's not a botanical field guide or a new Israeli skincare brand. It's one of the most profound works of Jewish ethics and mysticism, written by Rabbi Moshe Cordovero in 16th century Safed, a place that was basically the Silicon Valley of Kabbalah. Think of it as a user manual for divine compassion, explaining how human beings can imitate God's moral attributes. It's lofty, poetic, and surprisingly practical, sort of like if Mr. Rogers and a kabbalist co-wrote a self-improvement book. Let's start with a little background. Rabbi Moshe Cordovero, known as the Ramak, was a leading figure of Safed's mystical renaissance, alongside giants like Rabbi Isaac Luria, the Ari. Safed in the 1500s was buzzing with spiritual creativity. Exiled Jews from Spain and Portugal brought deep philosophical questions and mystical traditions with them, and the city became a laboratory for the soul. Tomer Devorah was written as an ethical roadmap, how to live like the divine, not just pray to the divine. Cordovero believed that holiness isn't achieved by isolation, but by imitation, becoming a reflection of God's goodness in daily life. His idea was simple but revolutionary. If the universe is sustained by divine mercy, then humans sustain the world by mirroring that mercy toward one another. The book's structure mirrors the Sephirot, the 10 divine attributes described in Kabbalistic thought. These are like channels through which God interacts with creation, such as kindness, chesed, strength, gevurah, and beauty, tiferet. Cordovero takes each attribute and asks, how can we embody this in our human relationships? For example, God's attribute of chesed, loving kindness, is shown when he gives freely, even to those who don't deserve it. So Cordovero says, you too must show kindness without calculating who's earned it. Each divine quality becomes a moral challenge. Imitate mercy, forgiveness, humility, and patience. In essence, Tomer Devorah transforms mystical theology into a practical guide for empathy. It's the ultimate WWGD. What would God do? And then go do that. One of the most famous teachings comes from the first chapter, where Cordovero describes God's forbearance. He marvels that even when humans sin, God continues to sustain them, giving them air, food, and life itself. From this, he says, we should learn patience and compassion toward others, even those who wrong us. Imagine holding that perspective the next time someone cuts you off in traffic. Instead of honking, you'd say, may you be blessed and arrive safely. Okay, maybe not that far, but you get the point. For Cordovero, forgiveness isn't weakness, it's godliness. By sustaining others despite their flaws, we become divine imitators. He believed moral perfection lies not in detachment, but in continuous compassion. Another striking part of Tomer Devorah is its emphasis on humility. Cordovero writes that God fills the universe, yet still dwells with the humble. This humility of the divine, he says, is the model for human behavior. True greatness doesn't demand recognition. It uplifts others. Cordovero compares arrogance to spiritual pollution. It blocks the flow of divine light through a person. Humility, on the other hand, acts like a clear window for that light to shine through. He isn't talking about self-deprecation, but self-transcendence, the awareness that all goodness flows from beyond us. It's a call to balance dignity with modesty, power with gentleness. You could almost imagine him saying, be confident, but don't act like you invented the mitzvah. Cordovero also addresses the attribute of gevurah, divine restraint or strength. He explains that just as God measures judgment with compassion, we too must learn self-control. Anger, he says, is like spiritual fire. It can warm or destroy depending on how you use it. The wise person channels that inner fire toward justice, not vengeance. In modern terms, it's emotional regulation through holiness. If Chovot Halavavot teaches the duties of the heart, Tomer Devorah teaches the duties of divine imitation. Every human interaction becomes a chance to exercise moral muscles. When you respond with patience instead of fury, you're not just being polite, you're performing an act of cosmic repair. Cordovero's language is mystical. but the psychology behind it feels surprisingly contemporary. One beautiful metaphor runs throughout the book. Just as a palm tree provides shade, sweetness, and nourishment, so too should a person provide comfort and blessing to others. That's why it's called Tomer Devorah, the Palm Tree of Deborah, a reference to the prophetess Deborah from the Book of Judges, who rendered justice beneath a palm tree. The image suggests stability and nourishment, rooted in earth yet reaching toward heaven.
At Toyota, spring means two things. Windows down, music up. See your local Toyota dealer for a spacious new Grand Highlander or RAV4 with special financing and lease options for qualified customers. Toyota, let's go places.
You didn't start a business just to keep the lights on. You're here to sell more today than yesterday. You're here to win. Lucky for you, Shopify built the best converting checkout on the planet. Like the just one tapping, ridiculously fast acting, sky-high sales stacking, champion of checkouts. That's the good stuff right there. So if your business is in it to win it, win with Shopify. Start your free trial today at shopify.com/win.
You know what they say. Early bird gets the ultimate vacation home. Book early and save over $120 with Vrbo. Because early gets you closer to the action, whether it's waves lapping at the shore or snoozing in a hammock that overlooks, well, whatever you want it to. So you can all enjoy the payoff come summer with Vrbo's early booking deals. Rise and shine. Average savings $141. Select homes only.
Cordovero's goal was to help people become living palm trees, grounded, fruitful, and kind. Every act of empathy is a date fruit ripening in the world's moral orchard. It's poetic, yes, but also practical. You can't change the entire world, but you can sweeten your corner of it. Another key lesson is rachamim, or compassion. Cordovero says compassion is the essence of divine action. It bridges kindness and justice. To be compassionate, he writes, is to feel another's pain so fully that helping them feels natural. Compassion isn't pity, it's identification. It requires seeing others as extensions of the same divine image you carry within. That idea, when you think about it, dismantles prejudice, arrogance, and even despair. If God's image lives in every person, then no one is disposable. Cordovero's compassion goes beyond charity. It's a worldview. He calls it bearing the burden of the other. In modern language, it's radical empathy, understanding that every soul you meet is carrying a piece of divine reality. Toward the end of Tomer Devorah, Cordovero shifts from ethics to cosmic unity. He writes that when humans act with love and restraint, they realign the spiritual worlds, restoring harmony between heaven and earth. This idea became a cornerstone of later Kabbalistic thought, especially the teachings of the Ari and the Baal Shem Tov. But Cordovero keeps it accessible. You don't need mystical visions to fix creation. You just need to act kindly. Every time you forgive someone, comfort a friend, or choose empathy over ego, you're tuning the spiritual frequency of the universe. In that sense, Tomer Devorah is both a self-help guide and a cosmic repair manual. It's like the ultimate how-to for soul maintenance. So why does Tomer Devorah still matter today? Because it transforms spirituality into action. Cordovero reminds us that godliness isn't found in ecstatic visions, but in everyday decency. It's in the patience you show a coworker, the forgiveness you extend to family, the humility you carry in success. His vision of divine imitation asks us to build a world that reflects mercy, not mirrors cruelty. And that's what makes the book timeless. It isn't about escaping the world. It's about sanctifying it. Thank you for listening to the Everything Jewish 10 Minutes at a Time podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend or leave a kind review so others can find it. Until next time, may your actions grow tall, your compassion deep, and your heart, like the Tomer Devorah, reach toward heaven.
President Barack Obama.
Virginia, we are counting on you. Republicans want to steal enough seats in Congress to rig the next election and wield unchecked power for 2 more years. But you can stop them by voting yes by April 21st. Help put our elections back on a level playing field and let voters decide, not politicians. Vote yes by April 21st.
Paid for by Virginians for Fair Elections.